vice presidency. Andy Ogles is that Tennessee congressman who joins us now live. Sir, welcome to National Report. Tell us about this decision. Why now have you come forward with these articles?
Well, writing articles of impeachment is not something that you do lightly. But when we see the weaponization of the Justice Department against President Trump, enough is enough. The American people want to know that there's someone out here, there's a group of us out here willing to fight for truth and justice. And the Biden administration, the Biden family, for year over year, has taken bribes from entities and foreign governments. We have the bank records. We know the bank account numbers, and yet there's no investigation. Meanwhile, you have the Justice Department raiding the president's home. Keep in mind, there's cameras there, there's security there, there's Secret Service there. It's a secure facility, and yet Biden himself had records in his home garage that were unattended.
One of the articles that you bring up here, in the articles of impeachment, from what I understand, you criticize the handling of the southern border. You wrote this,
That's
and
right.
I believe I have a quote here. Joseph Robinette Biden has acted in a manner contrary to the public trust and subversive of constitutional government, to the great prejudice of the case of law and justice, and to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Can you talk about that? And essentially, was it the numbers in terms of illegal migrants coming to this country? Was it the drug trafficking? Was it the overdose deaths, human trafficking? I mean, was it all of it? Talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, as you say, there's a litany of things that we could talk about. But if you look at, 2020 and 2021, the age bracket of 18 to 45, there was more deaths from fentanyl than cancer, COVID, suicide. And so this is an atrocity. If you go back to the Obama administration, 1,000 crossings a day or 30,000 a month would be considered a crisis, right? We're seeing 300,000 a month, 250 to 300,000 has become the norm. Our streets have been flooded with illegal immigrants, with fentanyl. And this is a dereliction of duty from the president, from the vice president, from Mayorkas. And we all know, every one of us knows someone in our community that's been affected by an overdose, a death from fentanyl. And what has this administration done? They claim to have a border plan. They claim to have a security plan. Meanwhile, thanks to Congressman Green and the chairman of Homeland Security, it has come forward that 5 of our sectors on the southern border are not in control of the United States of America, but by the Mexican cartels. This is embarrassing that this president is in charge of our foreign policy and our borders.
As we've seen, the border crisis extends well beyond just the southern border. We've heard many mayors of so-called sanctuary cities express concern over the lack of resources when it comes to supporting these migrants. Just one more thing before we go, Congressman. As you know, the GOP, of course, controls the House, but Democrats are in control of the Senate. Therefore, this whole impeachment proceeding would be a very uphill sort of approach. Have you heard support for it from fellow members?
Well, yeah, I think, members of Congress, especially on the Republican ticket, are tired of the status quo. They're tired of this government being weaponized against Americans. And this is us setting the record straight, saying that you can't continue to treat Americans this way. And I'll say this, if a former president of the United States can face the type of political persecution that he has, if he's not safe, neither are you and I. And that should scare the living daylights out of you.
All right, Congressman Andy Ogles joining us live. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.